Good morning. Good morning. All right, folks, let's get started. Firstly, let's go ahead and review the activity from yesterday. Give me 1 second here. Okay. All right, so yesterday I was pointing out some of the stocks that either I pointed out or you guys identified yourselves. All right, so yesterday, one of the stocks that was mentioned multiple times by one of you was WVE. Now, this is not a stock that I personally had pointed out, but nevertheless, you guys identified yourselves. This is the start of the day for this stock, and as you can see, it had a very nice clean move up, and then finally got to the top, and that was it. And since then, did have a nice small rebound here, small rebound there, but that was about it. Okay. I haven't checked to see. Let me find out now. Yeah, this is a hard to borrow stock, so the short side is exploitable, but it'll be a little slow going down, most likely. So, good job for everyone who took advantage of that. This was one of the best movers. In fact, in the list of stocks that were pretty active for you guys yesterday, either that I identified or you did, WVE was the best performer in terms of the degree to which it went up intraday. So, good job on that. Let's see what else we got. Okay. Next up is Moderna, mRNA. Okay, so Moderna, this one, sorry, it's not on the screen yet. This has obviously been on our list for a while. It's had some pretty strong days the last two sessions. So this was the 13th, and this is yesterday. There's the start. Moderna started from below. It had gapped slightly lower. Then it started to rally back up. After that rally, just took a brief moment to catch its breath, and then after that, went on a run. One of you were exploiting that one. One of our newer members, she was on this one for sure, as she was the previous the session before that. As I advised, there is no particular target that I could point out for this stock after it already had surpassed the expectations. So I just told her to let it run until it stops going up. So I assume that, based on what she said, she got out somewhere around here, which is great. So it was a very nice run. I did point this one out fairly early when it was consolidating here and starting to break out was when I pointed it out. So hopefully some of you, well, I know some of you took advantage of it, but hopefully most of you did. All right, next up, we have IQ. Now, IQ was brought up by one of the members in the pre-market. This is something we discussed before market open yesterday. So IQ at first had a nice move up and then quickly sold off and then gradually recovered to where you had a move up here, then it stopped, and another move up there. So this one, you could make some money off of it, but I have to admit this was not very easy to trade. I basically ignored it after the open. Didn't really see a lot of great reason to focus on that when we had so many other stocks that were moving. So while this was one of the earlier opportunities that we saw, it didn't pan out quickly enough, so we mostly ignored it. Another stock that did move well yesterday, but ultimately didn't last very long, was this one here. Sorry, looking for the market open. There it is, market open right there. CJJD. This one was also a decent mover, starting off here, gapped lower, then went up, and that was it. Okay, so I don't recall anyone really jumping on this one today. I know that a number of you got it, or yesterday. I know that a number of you did in this session on the 12th, and also I think some of you may have gotten a piece of it on the 13th. But I know on the 12th a lot of you did. So not the best opportunity, but it did move, right? Okay, next up we have DocuSign. DocuSign had its run. I did give out the target for DocuSign fairly early. That target actually ended roughly where you see these arrows here. So DocuSign started off the day pretty strong, moved up to the target that we had set for it. Then that was it. Once it got to that target, it sold off. That target was at 60.97. That was as far up as we expected the stock was likely to go if it had a really good move. It did get there, surpassed it, but then it quickly turned around, and then that was it. Okay, DocuSign is exploitable both long and short with ease. So perhaps some of you took the reversal. I don't know, but either way, nice move at the open. Next up, we have YMTX. Was one of the stocks that was on the list, but it didn't do much at the open. So this one was on the radar yesterday. I think it was because I'm trying to remember. Oh, this was is this a newer stock? I'm trying to remember what the reason was. But anyway, as you can see, the stock went down pretty sharply. Didn't do anything during the day either. So this movement here, I wouldn't try to take advantage of. We were just looking at it. Perhaps this would bounce back, but it didn't. So at the open, this didn't do much. It just fell apart right away, so we skipped it. Now, EHang, this one was actually, it started off today, so we've had some pretty good days with this stock, but yesterday it started off today looking like it might want to go up. So here is the start. I'll just go over this really quick. So at the start of the day, right here, you can see that the stock went up at first, right? Then turned around and sold off pretty quickly. So pretty quickly, we pointed this out that this didn't look like it wanted to go up today. Now you could exploit that in both directions. This would be an example of an ideal scenario to try to go short when you have a stock that moves up quickly at the open and then fails and then sells off. That usually is a good opportunity to short. In this case, it would have been very good. I don't think any of you did short sell that, but nevertheless, that was a potential. All right, IMMX also, this one showed a lot of promise. It was a very big mover pre-market, but then after the bell, it did move up, as we can see, but the movement was fairly short-lived. So at the beginning, it did fade a little bit, and then finally starts to rally, taking it from about 206 up to about 251, and then after that, just sold off, right? So this one, I would say it did show some promise, but ultimately didn't have enough buyers to move it up. So that was that. And then we also saw KYMR was up pre-market. So we were taking a look at it, but at the opening bell, it just sold off. Now this stock is, I believe this is a easy to borrow stock. I'm not sure, but I believe it is. So this one is definitely another good example of something that would be ideal to short sell. Big gap up and then immediately sells off. That's something you could consider short selling. If you're aggressive, you short sell right at the beginning when it starts to sell off. If you wait a bit, you can try to short sell as it continues to move down, but generally, if you can time it very well at the start of the day, that's usually your best opportunity, but it is not as easy to do usually as this is, so just keep that in mind. All right. So, other than that, there are other stocks that came up, but too many to mention. So let's kind of go over some of the stocks that were moving yesterday and let's see what they're doing now. Give me 1 second. I just wanted to check up on a few things. Okay. So all right, so we have sorry. We have okay, see a few stocks on the list, but not too many that look good. Okay. All right, so as of right now, this is not a stock that I saw yesterday, but it is a big mover. ICVX, this is it yesterday. As you can see, a very nice move up. I don't recall this one coming up on, well, it probably was on one of my lists, but I don't remember seeing it. It could be because the volume wasn't high enough. I'll have to check what the volume was yesterday. It was over 5 million shares, so I guess it was on the list, but I didn't see it. Very large breakout. I have no idea where this stock is heading. They had some drug trial results. That's apparently why the stock went up. Either way, this one didn't see this intraday. I'm still surprised I didn't notice it, but nevertheless, this one, I'll put this on the watch list for now. And as far as opportunity goes, let's see. As of right now, the stock's trading slightly less than it was the previous day, but it is trading a good amount of volume. As you can see, 1.1 million shares, so it is active. It's not on the first page because it's not up. It's actually down right now. It's down 5.49% from where it was yesterday. So this one I'll put on the watch list for this morning just because it's moved so much yesterday. No expectations as far as how far it could go up. This is in a very extreme price range, but if it can move at the open and do it in the right way, then of course we'll take advantage of it, but if not, we'll skip it. So ICVX, there it is. All right, moving on. Okay, let's skip this. Not seeing a lot. So we had the FOMC yesterday. As you guys probably know, the Federal Reserve raised interest rates by 50 basis points. That's half of a percentage point, which was exactly what the markets expected. But overnight, when I was looking at the markets after hours yesterday and pre-market today, mostly the market was going down. So we'll have to see what's going to happen today. Here's a stock that's down a lot. THRD, Third Harmonic Bio. So let's go over the news. Obviously, it's bad. Third Harmonic stock falls 75% after discontinuing clinical trial. Third Harmonic Bio shares are trading lower after the company announced discontinuation of its phase 1B study of THB001 in chronic inducible urticaria. I'm not even sure how to pronounce that. But anyway, they canceled their phase 1B, and that means the stock now is trading into $4, whereas yesterday was at 19 something, almost $20 a share. So this is a massive drop in value. Now this stock could move. It could move at the open. I will put it on the radar to watch, but we don't know if it's going to go up or down. So just keep an eye on that. Let me see if this is an easily borrowed stock. As far as I can tell, it's not hard to borrow. As far as I can tell. Actually, no, take that back. You can't borrow shares of that. But in the challenge, you do have the opportunity to exploit it. So whatever the case may be, third, I'll put that on the radar for today. But I don't know if this is going to be able to do anything great after such a big move down, but nevertheless, there is the potential. So there it is. All right, see what's next. Okay, I actually don't see much. So pre-market's pretty slow right now, guys. I don't see a lot. So this might be a fairly slow start for us as far as stocks to watch. So as far as news today, we got these numbers that already came out. Core retail sales came in at negative 0.2%, so that's worse than expected. So that means the economy actually is softened. Empire State Manufacturing worse than expected, negative 11.2. Retail sales came in worse than expected, negative 0.6. Philly Fed came in worse than expected, negative 13.8. But unemployment claims came in lower than expected at 211K versus 230K. So what that means is we have mostly numbers that would favor the Fed slowing down their interest rate hikes, because interest rate hikes are going to always slow the economy. That's the whole idea right now, that they're trying to literally cool off the economy, slow it down, move unemployment numbers up slightly. These are all things that may sound bizarre to say, but this is true. The Fed is actually looking to move the unemployment, etc., in the direction they want. So it is what it is. We also have coming up at 9:15 Eastern, capacity utilization, industrial production, business inventories, natural gas comes out at 10:30 Eastern. So we have more data coming out, and if there are any big surprises in any of these, that could affect the markets. But I don't think natural gas storage will have any effect on the broader market. But we probably will see some impact from industrial production, capacity utilization, business inventories, if there are any major surprises. If they're all coming in worse than expected, that should actually be bullish for the market. So as of today, the numbers that came out already are favoring the market, in the sense that if the economy is not doing so well, it's better for investors, ironically, because it means the Fed won't likely raise rates as much. So if I look at the SPY right now, well, actually, let's look at the NASDAQ. Presently, the NASDAQ is actually down. And this is unusual because that news technically is good, but the NASDAQ is down. Now, maybe it's down because the markets believe the Fed's going to focus more on the unemployment question. Perhaps that's true. Perhaps because unemployment is not lowering, or not getting increasing, but it's lowering. I do know the Fed has been very clear about their concerns about the tightness of the labor market, so perhaps that's going to be something. That perhaps that's the reason why. So either way, the market is down. It's still doing what it was doing pre-market, post-market, so we'll see what happens. All right, so other than that, Good job from a lot of you trading yesterday. You did very well at the open, but there was one thing I will point out that I would be concerned about in the coaching room. And that is this. Some of you were doing very, very well at the beginning of the day yesterday. I mean, when I'm looking at the stats, lots of green yesterday at the beginning of the session. Most of you are doing fairly well at the start. But here is the other side of that. Okay? The downside of it is that once the FOMC statement came out at 2 o'clock Eastern, a lot of you literally got flipped upside down. So you were doing good, and then the FOMC number comes out, and bam, you all get hit. In fact, looking at the stats overall, the P&L, it looks like net P&L was positive at first for the group, and then everyone went negative after that number came out. So as a warning, I do announce that these numbers are coming out beforehand, just like I just went over this here. So it's really it's up to you to make sure that you are paying attention to this information. You got to make sure that you know when these numbers are coming out, because you don't want to be in the trade and the market, some big news hits and the market gets flipped upside down. So just keep that in mind. So again, most of the news has already been announced. We have capacity utilization, etc., starting at 9:15 Eastern. But of course, that will be before the bell. So for the most part, you're in the clear after the open, right? Don't have much to worry about. But some days you'll have news coming out about a half an hour or so after the opening bell. So you got to be aware of that and be careful with it. Okay. All right. Other than that, folks, have a great trading session. I'll see you guys in the coaching room in a few minutes. For those of you who are not part of the coaching room, make sure you join fundertrading.com. Otherwise, for those of you who are in the coaching room, I'll see you in a second, as I said. If you're new and are not sure what I'm referring to, just go to your emails and it'll direct you to how to get to the coaching room so we can help you find some stocks to help you pass the challenge, okay? Have a good one, folks. Take care.